Welcome to our CAS presentation. This presentation was made by both Jacob, I, and Gavin.
Our table of contents consists of the title, the table, introduction and objectives, timeline, project results, significant roles, and participation. 7 learning outcomes, 5 stages of CAS, creative and action.
For the introduction and objectives of this project was basically what inspired our film was the direct effect of how suicide has affected both of us. And the objective of this film is to try and get a lot of people to understand that suicide is not a joke and that we need to spread awareness about this since it is a thing affecting most of our generation and it is the leading cause of death for our generation. So through this film, our objective is to try and spread awareness that suicide is not a joke and that we should try and help out the people who show the signs of suicide and try and help them not to commit suicide because a life lost is one too many lost.
The timeline of our CAS project is brainstorming, coming to a final decision of our CAS, starting the script, the the start of working on the film process, finishing of the editing of the film, and finishing cast project itself.
So the project results. This is our movie, and I hope you enjoy it.
This is Detective Andy, and this day, 303 of the investigation, I have finally caught a lead on a case that's killing many students, too many that I'm not aware of, but I'm willing to do my best to crack the case, and if there's any hope at all, it should be in this building. Oh wow, another dead body. Hey, Principal Jackson, I need Omar to come to my office.
Detective Andy, I heard you wanted to see me.
Yes, please come in.
Okay, got it.
Have a seat, please. So I brought you here today, Omar, to ask you if you know anything about the case.
I know a little bit about the case. I don't know much about it, and I hope the information I tell you will be useful to your investigation. But what I think is, from what I've heard from the rumors that are spreading online about this case, is that the police department thinks it's a person, but I don't think it's a person. I think it has to do with the individual person themselves. I don't know what may be the cause of this, but as a student myself, I have taken notice that I'm also getting the effects that many of my students, or not my students, my classmates were all struggling with, and I'm afraid that I might soon be ending up like them.
Okay. Do you know anything else? Any small details that you might know?
Other than sudden change of emotions and behavior, not really.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. May this help you on your case. Have a
Yes.
good day.
Thank you. You too. Oh wow, how didn't I notice it was suicide?
Hi, welcome to SHAN, Suicide Hotline News. We are here with Detective Andy reporting a suicide at a high school. Please welcome Detective Andy.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for having me here, host. I'm here to give an answer to the public and from my findings of the cases that have been going on. And according to my studies, I found that the cause of all the deaths is caused by suicide. and I came to tell you guys that suicide is a real thing. It's a really big problem. Uh, for young adults, that could have been something more than just a student or a working citizen. They could have been uh, the next person who solved all cancer. Could have been the next engineer and made a new invention that could revolutionize us as a society. So I'm here to tell you, suicide is a really big problem, and please take care. After this first case, I found out that this is not meant for me.
The significance of my role. I was director, screenwriter, and cinematographer for this project. The significance of the director role is that I am the one who's in charge of the whole thing. Although I was with Gavin, I was the one who had final say in what did and did not go on the film. This is a significance to the role because I was overviewing everything and making sure that the actors were doing their job, that I liked how the editing was, how everything worked. And another role that I had was screenwriter. This one, it was a mixture of both Gavin and I. We both worked on how we wanted the script to look. Although I was a director, I still wanted to include Gavin's ideas and thoughts into the film because it is both of our projects, and I wanted both of us to be satisfied with what we presented here today. And my role as cinematographer was to be able to capture my ideas and emotions through the use of angles. And I'm very pleased on the way my angles came out to show what I wanted the audience to see. And I feel like all of these have a strong significance because without any of these, the movie would not have been the same, since it would have just been a random toss of ideas that had no planning behind it.
My significant role was editor. The significance as my role as an editor was that my job was to edit the film and make sure to create a final draft of the film. I had to make sure that the film flowed well and that the voiceovers that we had within the film connected with the film movements, and the audio and video flowed well within the film. Um, I had to make sure that the final product of the film came out perfectly and and I was tasked with that responsibility, as this isn't just my cast project, but Jacob's as well. I worked on adding the music within the film too, and adding any other effects that we could have added in the film, which are somewhat in there. My other significant role was the screenwriter, and as a screenwriter, I collaborated with Jacob and on what the film should look like. We discussed the plot of the film and how it could connect with the society, or to a social issue that people are dealing with today, such as suicide. We worked together on creating a we both worked together on creating a project that we could both agree on as well whenever I was a screenwriter. Our 7 learning outcomes for the CAS project uh, was strength and growth, challenge and skills, initiative and planning, working collaboratively with others, perseverance and commitment, global engagement, and ethics of choices and actions. With strength and growth, we had worked on previous films beforehand before we started this film. But this time we weren't limited by a class or a grade, and we had the opportunity to grow further than just our basic films that we've done in class. Some challenges and skills that we ran into were with our actors and how they weren't available to us. So that was one of our main challenges. Another thing is that we gain new skills through editing and directing, as Jacob expanded his directing skills and um, perspectives and whatnot. And I grew with my editing skills as I got to edit a film that I truly got that I enjoyed. With our initiative and planning, we thought of doing a film together in our sophomore year, as that's when we started to do films. And when CAS came up this year, we took the initiative of starting a film that we could both do together that wasn't a project for a class or anything like that. And we felt that this film would take our entire effort and that we would enjoy. Um, when it comes to working collaboratively with others, um, one of our actors, uh, Anthony, um, he came in last minute's notice and helped us a lot as we couldn't get any other actors. And he worked well with Jacob with directing and the filming process. And that's a great example of how we worked collaboratively with others. Our perseverance and commitment is we had to work through other homework and exams that came with this filming process. We had both this cast project and other things to do. And that's one of our commitments is that we are committed to this film, even though we have grades we must attend to. Um, and it was a difficult task, and it helped us push to work harder on our collaboration skills with our actors and other things too, and together as well, me and Jacob. Um, when it comes to global engagement, our film focuses on a social issue as a result from the pandemic and its impact on teens, hence suicide. The social issue of suicide within teens after the pandemic. With our ethics of choices and actions, we had to be relatively careful with this serious topic and a message such as suicide, as it's a very controversial and needs to be handled with care. And I believe that we did that. Both me and Jacob did handle with care of a topic such as suicide within our film.
The five stages of CAS, which are investigation, preparation, action, reflection, and demonstration. For our investigation, we both did a lot of research to make sure that we were not being offensive or insensitive when recording and planning out the idea, because that's the last thing we want to do is just like make a mockery out of something serious through the lack of investigation and ignorance. And then we also added our personal experience that we've sadly have to have due to this. For our preparation, we planned out a script and we practiced with our actors. We had three actors, right? The actual one that we wanted, the second one, and then the backup one. And sadly, the first two ones didn't work, but thankfully, the third one was still down to help us out. For the action was filming the project itself and editing it too. The reflection is making this presentation and discussing it with other people as well, not just Gavin and I, but I've also talked to some of my friends and showing it to them, and they also agree that the film is pretty good and it brings light to a situation without being too touchy about a subject or making it too personal. It's where anyone can relate to it. And for the demonstration is we are making it public on YouTube, and we're also sharing it with our friends and families and anyone that's willing to watch our movie. And we hope that those people enjoy it too. And that's how we're wanting to demonstrate our movie. We want as many people as we can get to see it and also help us spread the word that suicide is something serious that we need to help fight against. For creativity, the settings for our cast project was only creativity and action, since there wasn't much of a service aspect. The creativity is that we have to brainstorm and workshop an idea and bring it to life, which is to many people sounds easy, like, oh, you just come up with an idea and boom, you have your film. And no, it's not just that. You have to come up with how the cinematography is going to look, the lighting, the mise en scene, and all those other things that take into play. All of that helps create the mood for what we were going for. And through that, through our creativity and specific decisions with what we wanted to be in and not in our film, we were able to create what we wanted, and that's how the creativity aspect takes play. And then the action is that we're taking a stand against suicide, and we're trying to spread awareness about this, and that's the action of this project. All right, well, thank you, and that's our presentation.